Welcome to the HMO Property Show. By investors, for investors. Catch us weekly as we discuss all things cash flow positive property investing. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a new landlord, or just curious about property investing, this is the podcast for you. Sponsored by the Co-Living Collective, your trusted partner in creating vibrant and sustainable shared living experiences. Visit us at colivingcollective.com.au to learn more.
Hello and welcome back to the HMO Property Show. You've got me today, Gibb. And normally I jump on the mic when we're talking about impact and the actual residents, the people who we are helping and making impact in the housing market. So there is a lot happening in the property market right now, and especially with the federal government announcing the changes to negative gearing, we're going to see a lot of major shift in investor behaviour. Investors who previously relied on tax benefits and long-term capital growth are now going to start looking much more seriously at cash flow positive property. And naturally, that means more people will start looking at co-living. For us at the HMO Property Co and living rooms, this isn't a new trend. We've been doing this for almost a decade. We've lived it, we've tested it, had the blood, sweat and tears, we've made the mistakes, we've refined the model. And most importantly, we've still seen firsthand the impact that well-designed co-living can have on people's lives. What concerns me the most is more operators that enter the market chasing yield. There's a real risk that co-living becomes viewed purely as a money-making strategy instead of what it actually is, a housing solution. Because when co-living is done poorly, everybody loses. The investor loses because the demand isn't sustainable. The resident loses because the homes become transitional or transactional instead of livable. And the industry loses credibility. That's my biggest fear. We are already seeing examples of people chasing the highest possible returns without understanding the deeper fundamentals of this model. Building in areas without genuine demand, overcrowding homes, reducing room sizes purely to maximise rental income, creating spaces that may look good on a spreadsheet but don't actually work for human beings long term. The reality is this: you cannot separate the investor outcome from the resident outcome. The best performing co-living homes are not the ones squeezing every last dollar out of a floor plan. They're the ones people genuinely want to live in. That's something we've learned over 9 years in this space. And the reason our homes continue to perform is because we design them around people first. We think deeply about how someone feels when they walk through the door, whether the spaces create connection, whether residents can still have privacy and dignity, whether the homes feel stable, calm, livable, whether someone could actually imagine themselves living there for years, not just months, not just as a short-term thing, because housing is not just about affordability. Housing's emotional. Housing affects mental health, confidence, relationships, productivity, belonging, connection. One of the biggest issues we're facing in society right now is loneliness. And what's fascinating is that we are seeing people from all walks of life choosing this style of living. So it's not just the students and the youngsters that you think. Our residents range from 18 years old through to people in their 70s and 80s. Some are students, some are professionals, some are separated, some are FIFO workers, some are downsizing, some are rebuilding after difficult chapters in their life, and some simply don't want to live alone anymore. And increasingly, people are choosing connection over isolation. That's why we don't just build houses. We create environments. We create spaces where people can have their own private retreat, but still feel part of something bigger than themselves. And ironically, when you focus on the human outcome first, the investor outcome becomes stronger too. Because demand is stronger, residents stay longer, communities become more stable, and the homes perform much more consistently over time. I think the future of housing in Australia is going to require a much more broader mix of housing options. Not everyone wants to live alone, and not everyone can afford to. Not everyone should have to feel isolated because traditional housing models haven't evolved. Co-living isn't the answer to everything, but done properly, it can absolutely be part of the solution. for affordability, for connection, for housing supply, for well-being. And as this sector grows over the next few years, my hope is that we continue to lead the industry in a way that balances both impact and investment. Because yes, investors absolutely need to win, but the resident needs to win too. And the best co-living models are the ones that everybody does. And I think that's probably the most important message I want to leave people with today. The future of housing cannot just be about extracting the highest possible return for the property. It has to be about creating housing that actually works for human beings. Housing that's affordable, housing that creates stability, housing that reduces loneliness, housing that helps people feel safe, connected and supported. And I genuinely believe that when you build housing with people at the centre of it, the investment outcome becomes stronger and more sustainable as a result. At the HMO Property Co, that's exactly what we've spent the last 9 years focused on. Not just creating high-performing investments, but creating co-living homes that are designed intentionally for long-term success for both the investor and the resident. And through our Living Rooms brand, we see the real-life impact of those homes every single day. We speak to the residents, we understand the demand, we see the changing needs in the market, and we understand what actually creates a stable, thriving co-living environment over the long term. So whether you're an investor wanting to better understand this market or someone looking for housing that offers affordability and connection, we'd love to have a conversation. You can reach out to the HMO Property Co if you want to understand how to invest in this space more properly and sustainably, or reach out to the team at Living Rooms if you're looking for housing, support, or simply want to better understand what co-living is about and who lives there. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about property, it's about people. And we believe everyone deserves access to housing that helps them create a better future. I just really hope this message has landed. It's not just about creating profits and getting the maximum returns. If we're not creating the best outcomes, we're not going to get the best outcomes for ourselves. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in the same time next week so you can stay up to date with all cash flow positive property updates.